Hi everyone, Rolf here again with the Louisville ProActivist Report. I'm here in the Highlands today at Feed Louisville, and I've got a whole crew of guests with me here today, so let me get my introductions underway. I have with me Donny Greene, Rhona Kamar from Feed Louisville, as well as a couple of the volunteers here, Camila and Marie. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate all of y'all being here.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's get a little bit of background on you guys to start off with. I don't know who wants to go first, but just kind of talk about how you got into activism to begin with, and what kind of was your inspiration to do all this work here.
Okay, so I won't give the long resume, but I started activism actually in my teenage years and then in college. And I've been active on and off for, we'll just say decades. And got specifically into outreach on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, usually 2 or 3 times a week about 6 years ago, and have been going ever since. And at the start of COVID, mutual aid and outreach became kind of a full-time job because everything else ceased. All the other help that was, all the other social safety nets, everything that was supposed to be available for people in an emergency and a time of need disappeared. And so we kind of jumped into action and began outreach on a 7-day, almost 24-hour-a-day basis in order to respond to the need in the houseless community, in the food insecure community, as well as feeding protesters down at the square as the Breonna Taylor protest kicked off after the police obviously murdered Breonna Taylor in her sleep at home. And I met Rhona in a chance meeting here at the church when I was actually here gathering supplies to go out. And we started talking about hot food and what was going on with the houseless population in COVID. And I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, so I was hanging out in this kitchen cooking for a company, my new company, and I'm a chef by profession. And yeah, we had a conversation that might have never taken place, and it did. And Donny explained to me what's happening. This was in the beginning of the pandemic. And, none of us really knew what we were looking at. We thought, oh, maybe a couple weeks we'll need to fill in the gaps for emergency kitchens that were not operating at full capacity. And, Donny explained that people were probably just going to be getting a sandwich for a little bit, and said, what can we do? And we answered yes. We said, yes, we'll do this. We'll cook every day. And after that, it just took on a life of its own. It has become something bigger than I could have ever imagined. Hundreds of people have showed up to make this happen every week. We have, I feel like we've attracted this amazing team of people who are all activists in their own way and, unique. I think everybody here is very different who works with us, but we all share, I feel like, one heart. It feels like we all have the same mission. I personally have not been an activist since college, and I got kind of drawn into the restaurant business after college and have been doing that. And
Where did that passion for cooking come from?
The passion for cooking, that started when I was probably 3 years old in my grandmother's kitchen. But I was a journalist. That was my profession before, and I married someone who opened a restaurant and just got pulled into that business and love it, and we've been doing that for almost 30 years. And yeah, so I cannot believe the way that this group of people and this work has changed my life personally, because we are doing something that, to be able to combine your passion, which for me is cooking, with experience, running a restaurant, with work that is so crucial right now, brings a lot of joy and unexpectedly. And it seems weird to be saying that at a time like this in the middle of a pandemic. And everything else that's going on. But yeah, it's been amazing, and our community has responded. Our hospitality community has responded, and all of our sort of this whole community of social justice activists have shown up in ways. Mutual aid activists have become a huge part of this. I think for me, probably up until recently, I would always say, when we would talk about Feed Louisville, I would say, oh, we're a network of local restaurants, and that is part of it, but it has become so much more than that. I've learned this from Donny and Camilla and Marie and all of our team, like we are a mutual aid organization. We're a grassroots, rolling every day. We're dealing with an emergency situation every day still, and so, it's been an amazing experience.
So people like to talk about the pandemic as though we've crossed some threshold or leaped a hurdle, and actually we're at the worst point in the pandemic so far. And now we're hearing talk that hopefully this is the peak. And what people don't understand is what that translates to, regardless of whether restaurants are open, socially distanced, or gas stations are open or whatever, is that the most vulnerable and marginalized in our population are cut off from basic services. That includes hot food, clean water, access to sanitation, showers, clean clothes, all of those things. It also means that places that normally operate where you might have 200 or 300 people in a shelter are at half capacity because of social distancing, are not able to produce the amounts of food that they have typically in the past because their volunteers are typically older, retired folks. And there's a difference between charity and solidarity. And we make it a point of taking hot meals out in the street to folks where they're at, along with supplies, heat in the form of sterno and whatever else we can get our hands on, kind of whatever anyone asks for or needs, because from each by his own ability to each according to their need is what we kind of operate on. And we believe that, at least I believe that, and I think the city has shown that, and the state and the federal government have shown that they're not going to come. They're not coming to save us. They're not coming to make it better for anyone. Okay, the only people that are going to do that is us. It's community, okay, working to save community. And we're all a part of that community, regardless of how you view someone. They're still a part of your community, and they're involved in your community. I often explain to people who are very judgmental of houseless populations that, okay, let's say you're right. Let's say it's, and I totally disagree with this, it's not a personal failing, it's a systemic or a systematic failing. But for argument's sake, let's take your argument and say that it is something personal, okay? Well, if you are in fear of nothing else, then you should be worried about who is handling your food, who is dealing with your produce, who is the essential worker, okay, because that is taking care of your mother, your grandmother, or whomever, because they're a part of our community. And if they're living in poverty, if they're living in food insecurity, if they're living in an unsafe environment, for any myriad of reasons, then that should be a concern of yours too, because it impacts all of us, okay? And so everyone deserves basic human rights, and that's housing, food, water, healthcare, and education. After that, we can start a conversation. After all of those needs are met for our entire community, we can start a conversation about everything else. But that has to be available to everyone. And until that is, this work is going to be needed to be done.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the majority of your work obviously is in the title is Feed Louisville, and that's your priority, but you'll also do some other things as far as like clothing, hygiene products, stuff like that. So just talk about some of the other things that you do as well.
Sure. Camila over here got in touch with a group that does bicycles. And you want to talk about that?
Sure. Hi, I'm Camila, also with Feed Louisville. And yeah, we've tried to make a number of networks to show that mutual aid isn't as narrow as some people might view it, that there's a lot of different ways it can manifest. And so we recently connected with Pedal Power and Beargrass Creek Church out off of Shelbyville Road to start taking their donated bikes out to the different houseless encampments and places where people need to be more mobile. We recently connected with Saving Sunny, because a lot of houseless folks do have pets that are the world to them. And so Saving Sunny has been giving us dog food donations at 200 pounds a piece. So they've been helping a lot in that sense.
Nice.
But yeah, there are a bunch of other programs, whether it is delivering winter items every night or batteries, sterno, propane tanks,
Tents, sleeping bags.
taking medical care out to the field. On Tuesdays, we have a master herbalist that rides with us, who's also a physician's assistant. We often have mental health workers come with us as well.
Nurses, medics.
You name it.
Everything but the kitchen sink.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a kitchen sink, so
We do.
yeah.
Yeah, if we can take it, we will.
Yeah, we will take a lot of donations. And if somebody gets a housing voucher and needs their place to be more furnished, we'll start bringing them furniture as well. So a lot of it
Nice.
is based on donations to make sure people can be as comfortable as they can.
Nice, that's awesome. Now you're a volunteer here, right?
Volunteer, but I was recently hired.
Oh, nice.
So.
So what drew you to Feed Louisville as opposed to maybe one of the other organizations around here?
I love, for starters, that it based itself in solidarity, not charity. Like, this is in no means a hierarchical situation. This is no means being judgmental towards anyone that we serve. They're very much our friends and our community, and so being able to provide folks with what they need to get by is very important to me. And I also see that this group, more than any other that I've seen in my lifetime, puts a lot of their words into action, and it's been an incredibly growing and flourishing and direct group when it comes to serving folks.
Nice.
I really like that.
Nice. So yeah, for you all just tuning in, I'm here in the Highlands with Feed Louisville, amazing organization here locally. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll ask them here. So just kind of talk about what you all have, going on here coming up, like any events or any plans that you have with the group.
What do we have coming up?
Every Saturday, a few of us team up with Feed the Revolution, which connects radical farmers to help resuscitate gardens in the South and West End and to empower and uplift POC farmers.
That's with David Zolla, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A handful of folks at Victory Gardens helped spearhead that. We recently teamed up with the Black Market and Feed the West, so working in food justice in different parts of the city and in different capacities and connecting them all because they are part of a very similar struggle. So on Saturdays, we do garden prep. Let's see, I guess that's an upcoming thing. I don't know what else.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
food every week with the Hope Bus. We do food for Change Today, Change Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's been really nice in the past few months. We've started to really connect with other organizations who work with food, feeding, outreach, gardening, growing food, all aspects of it, and being able to share resources back and forth. So really becoming a truly mutual aid organization. Donny mentioned the Hope Bus. We are partners with Big Mamas in the West End. They do amazing work. And we share resources back and forth. Who else? Change Today. Several different other churches and religious organizations around town who will call us up when they have some extra resources and share them. So, and the garden, the Feed the Revolution sort of relationship we have with them is really exciting to me. In particular, as a person who gets to cook the food, because next year we will have several different gardens around in the West End and South End that will be producing, that will share with us. And so we're really excited about that, about being able to bring fresh produce in here. We really do focus on fresh food every day. We rarely use processed food, which has been really great, exciting. We also have some farm partnerships, so we're doing all kinds of different things.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that's a lot of stuff. I mean, y'all are covering almost everything.
Yeah. But
Pretty much.
What's interesting, and when Camilla was talking, one of the things that made me think about is really what we've done is build an infrastructure. We have a mobile sort of, we're a mobile, what do you want to say, like, we're a mobile team. We're not, we have a kitchen here, but we have, we have trucks, and we take resources directly to people where they're at. They don't have to walk, they don't have to stand in line. We're meeting people where they are, and we've built that infrastructure. So it's for us to add on things like a bike, being able to take bikes or to take a medic team out. Once we sort of got that infrastructure going, and Donny has done an amazing job building his team over the past 9 months. It's been a sort of a natural, progression of what we can do.
And it's been a form of harm reduction, especially in the time of COVID, to not have people gathering so much in spaces like soup kitchens, to actually be able to meet them where they are if they're having transportation issues. Just as an addendum.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's such a great thought. Do you want to see the kitchen? There's some things going on in there right now. People are in there cooking.
Yeah, let's tour the kitchen. Before we do that, can you all let people know, like, if they have any donations, if they want to volunteer, if they need donations or help from you all, how can people reach you all?
Yeah, I mean, we're all over social media, Feed Louisville on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We also have a website, feedlouisville.org. Thank you. And all of our contact information is on there. We're pretty easy to reach. We get a lot of calls and messages every day. So people are more than welcome to reach out in whatever they need.
Right. Whatever capacity they need or want to help,
Yeah, for sure.
We're willing to listen for sure.
And we do have a couple things in the works, kind of on that note, if a little addendum before you all go into the kitchen. We are trying to do a mobile shower unit. The Alley Theater recently donated a bus to us, a TARC bus, so that'll hopefully be converted this spring into a 2 to 4 shower unit, along with a washer and dryer, just so that people out in the field can have the dignity and the health that comes with having basic hygiene.
Toilet,
and privacy that would come with, having a space like that. So that's a really exciting project, and we will have ways for people to donate to help that along. We are converting a cargo bus into a mobile free store so that people can access what they need in the field. And so that we can make places that profit off of the working poor, like the Salvation Army or Goodwill, more obsolete.
Right.
Take people what they need. So hopefully mobile free store, mobile shower unit, and if we can do it, a mobile library one day.
Nice.
So
That is awesome.
give us money for buses.
Yeah.
We want
Donate
buses.
to this amazing organization here. Just had a question pop in. I think, Donny, this would probably be a good one for you.
Sure.
What does affordable housing look like for Louisville?
What does affordable housing look like for Louisville?
Yeah, what's your take on that?
So, that's a great question. Affordable housing needs to be housing that is available to everyone. And so, to me, affordable housing is actually free housing. As radical as that may sound, it's not anywhere else in the world except here in the United States, a radical statement. But everyone deserves a roof over their head. So housing first, okay, with wraparound mental health and health care services and social services to get folks back on their feet and adjusted the way they need to be. I don't think it necessarily needs to be a conversation. I mean, affordable housing, yes, needs to exist, and there needs to be a transition, but we have to start with housing everyone and eliminating a houseless population. Okay, no one should have to live on the street ever, period. And that's not even a discussion point for me. So it looks like free housing, if that's what you're asking.
And housing without caveats.
Yeah, and
like
housing without rules
saying,
and regulations and
right.
Yeah,
Saying that you
all
can
of the
have housing.
gatekeeping that comes with housing units now. Go on, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to step on your words there.
I was just thinking I was piggybacking on the mental health aspect of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that no one should be denied housing, regardless of their mental state or their possible state of dealing with addiction.
Correct.
A lot of housing in Louisville does have that as a stepping stone.
Housing, so humans have an intrinsic value without necessarily being productive. In today's world, we tend to view everyone as what their worth is, how we commodify them.
What they can provide.
What they can provide to a corporation or to their employer, or how much money they can make an hour, what car they can drive, what house they can afford. All of that is about money, okay, and about commodifying people, okay, literally. Let's take a step back and realize that whether you work or not, whether you have an addiction or not, whether you have a mental health issue or not, you still are a whole human being, and that has its own value, okay? You are a person, you deserve love, you deserve respect, you deserve basic human rights. Everyone does.
Absolutely.
And so once we get to that point, again, we can talk about everything else. But that's kind of,
Yeah.
did that answer the question?
It did. It did.
Okay.
So we're about to go tour the kitchen here. So talk about what you all are cooking up in there right now.
So Ruth Lestrange and her team are cooking today. Every day we have a different chef or cook who takes the lead on the dish in our headquarters kitchen, which is here. We have, we have 15 restaurant partners around the community who cook for us throughout the week as well. But here we cook about 150 to 200 meals a day. So we're going to see them packaging up what they made today, which was a bread pudding, which looks really good, and like a savory bread pudding, and potatoes and
Cheese and eggs.
and cheese and eggs.
Yeah.
It looks really
And
good. It
sausage
smells
and-
really good,
Yeah.
so I wish you could smell it. It's amazing. But yeah, let's see the kitchen. And
Yeah, let's check it
everybody-
out.
You want to? All right,
Yeah.
let's go. You all. Let's go in here.
Let's see what you all are working on here.
And then outreach, you guys are you all ready to leave soon? Package up because we'll be getting because
I'm going to go get my van pulled around here.
Okay, great. So you can see everybody loading up too. So
Okay.
this time of day, every day, you'll have our cooks in here, and then outreach comes in, and they it's my favorite time of day because everybody is in the kitchen together, and we get to like connect and talk about just get feedback from each other. Come in and meet everybody. So sorry for the delay, you all. That's all right. This is Ruth Lestrange. Ruth is one of our founding cooks. She was with us from the beginning. She's a friend of mine who said yes to this. I will help, and jumped in and helped create this organization. This is her kids, Jonah and Ruby, who have been with us from the beginning as well. And this is John Domain, who is an activist on a global level. He's been all over the world as a filmmaker.
I think everybody knows John, yeah.
Yeah, right. And he has become a really important part of our organization on a lot of different levels. We're going to be doing a lot more advocacy work coming up, and he's going to make a documentary for us soon. This is Ruth's bread pudding. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's really good. Ruth, do you want to say anything about your involvement in Feed Louisville, or?
I can take over for you.
I'm all right. All that comes to mind is the fun part of it is starting out in the morning and having Rhona say, well, like for example today, we have sausage patties, we have bread. What are you going to do with that kind of thing? Because we need, what we have in the kitchen is kind of what dictates what we end up with. And I really enjoy the creative aspect of that. It's a lot of fun to figure that out along the way. And it feels good, It feels good to be doing something positive during this time when I was sat at home feeling pretty helpless, And Rhona said, let's do this, and it felt like a great opportunity to get stuck in and to try to make a difference. So that's what we do.
Nice. This question is for any of you all who wants to answer it, but kind of what draws you all to Feed Louisville? What inspires you to come in here and put in the work?
Ruby, you want to answer? And I know John wants to say a lot. We'll get his.
People need to eat.
People need to
Pretty
eat.
much it, yeah.
People need
Just
to
like
eat.
to feed people.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, in my opinion, what the government should be doing, helping these people out, you know, in general in their lives, but especially right now. You know, people have to walk 3 miles to go to the bathroom sometimes because so many places are closed, and, you know, already the access for people is not great enough, and so this is literally the least we can do, you know, literally the least we can do. I would hope to see more people doing this. This is what everybody should be doing, you know, hopefully until the government gets it together and, you know, does what they should be doing all along, which is taking care of the people who live in their state or their country, so.
What about you, Jonah?
Wouldn't be doing anything else right now.
Nice.
I think it's just really important to just spread love through food, whether it's your love for cooking or just love for everyone else who needs to eat, because, I mean, they could be eating anything. They could be eating McDonald's, they could be eating, you know, we could go spend all the money that we put into this or all the donations or whatever, we could be making them burgers or, you know, just some easy, fast, easy in, easy out food. But we like coming and being creative and making food and putting love and effort and time into it. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be here and, you know, putting work in, putting in time.
And it's been so great for us as a family too, that my husband is usually here as well, and we've been started from the beginning doing 1 day a week as a family, kind of COVID safe in a pod. And so that was a really good aspect. That was just kind of a bonus. It wasn't why we got into it, but it's been a nice byproduct of doing the work.
Nice.
We've been able to meet some really cool people as well. I mean, everyone is here with a common goal and common motivation, which is just to help people. Without, you know, what we get out of it is the satisfaction of knowing that we're helping people. And yeah, it's a really nice community. Everyone here is kind and willing to help. Yeah, so that's it.
Awesome. Did you have anything you wanted to add, John?
How about you, John? He's worked in so many organizations all over the world doing activism. He was asking us earlier what we thought about the work that Feed Louisville is doing from an activist standpoint.
It's a great thing, man. One of the things that made the Panthers so dangerous in the 60s was that there was their breakfast program and feeding the people. And now this year we're going to be stepping into some advocacy. So, we're taking the place of what the government should be doing in a pandemic, because our leadership has failed the people. It's a great organization. It's like a family, man. And you can ask me questions.
Appreciate it, man. And while you're on camera too, I know you do really good work, you know, with your channel and your documentaries and everything. Let people know how they can check you out if they're not already.
Thank you, man. You can check out any of my social media. Just put in like vimeo.com/John's Domain. That's JOHNSDOEMAIN. Or either YouTube. Same thing. Just put in behind it JOHNSDOEMAIN. John's Domain. That's that. And we'll be working on a documentary about Feed Louisville, where we'll explore some of the stuff that the outreach team and just what the organization is doing. It's more than just feeding the people. It's being a psychologist. It's been a handyman. It's just been somebody that maybe somebody to listen to when somebody has to verbalize things. And yeah. Something like this is really important right now with the winter time, with the weather being so bad and Louisville's growing homeless population. A lot of people depend on us to give them the sternos and the help with gloves and blankets and tents, which in itself is problematic when it should, with all these abandoned houses and empty hotel rooms around the city. which the Greg Fisher and the Louisville local government should be doing that, man.
Absolutely. You're spot on with all of that. And yeah, I appreciate all the work that you do. So yeah.
Appreciate you too, man. Independent media is important. It's telling the story that a lot of the major media outlets don't want to tell. So always support your independent media.
That's it. You all make sure you're following John on social media. You don't want to miss those. And yeah, when you get that documentary out, let me know and I'll share it on my page too.
Man. Appreciate the work that you're doing, man.
Thank you so much.
Unsung hero, man.
So Rhona, did you have anything else you wanted to add or talk about today?
Thank you so much for coming in and just seeing what we're doing. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
nice to have you here.
I knew all the good work you did, but I didn't know all the good work that you did. There's so much, and yeah, so you're an amazing organization. I hope people will volunteer and/or donate, and you know, help support the work that you do, because this is amazing what you have going on here, and it's a great group of people, great work, and thank you all so much for what you do.
Thank you. One of the things I think we didn't say is how much the church has been a really great support to us. We just happened to be in this kitchen, you know, where this whole conversation started.
And what church is this again?
This is Douglas Boulevard Christian Church is where we're headquartered right now, and
Okay.
the pastor and the church staff and the congregation, you know, sort of adopted us and took, you know, have been so supportive of us. They've just, you know, anything you need, they've just, yeah, they've been a true partner in this. You know, we are obviously a non-religious organization, but they have shown us just how, you know, how good people should be helping each other. So that's been a great part of this for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if that's everything, I guess we're gonna sign this off here. So make sure you all sharing this out. There's really good work here. Help support local groups such as Feed Louisville. They do amazing work. Thank you all for watching. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So make sure you support local independent media such as myself, such as John O'Main, and the others here in town. Because, you know, we aren't paid. We're here to bring you this story. So thanks for watching, you all. Until next time, and remember, always think critically.